Okay, good morning, everyone. Yes, I see you, Alimot. Good morning. Good morning. Okay, as we are waiting, good morning, good. As we are waiting, just for us to have an icebreaker, just to calm down to let every tension go off. Now, I want us to put in the chat box, okay? What is that particular childhood dream? When you were a child, you had that dream. I would travel this way, I would study here, I would study there. What's that particular childhood dream that you think can still be possible? You can still achieve it in your lifetime. Okay, what's that particular dream? Can you put it in the chat box? Okay, that particular desire that you've been having, you've just been nursing it and keeping it. Even if, yes, life has its own affair, life has its own things, and we get married, we now have kids that have their dreams. But dreams we can still achieve. We can still achieve them. Okay, I go say move and have my kids in Canada. Great, good one. That's a nice dream. That particular dream, I want to be an astronaut. All those things, we can still achieve them if we put our minds to it. So let me see in the chat box, what is that particular dream that you've had, kept since childhood, and you feel that it's still possible to achieve in your lifetime. Remember it again. That's what we call it's actually even in physics, the astrophysics and all that. Whichever we imagine, whatever we imagine, we call them forth. So remember that thing and bring it closer to you. Okay? So feel free to drop it in the chat box while we wait for others to join. In 3 minutes, we will start. And with this workshop, we're just going to take an hour. This is the final workshop. So thank you so much for being with me in this final workshop. Okay, I see Sunday Kelani says to travel around the world. Great one. I see Achidabara, he says to establish multi-laboratories to handle all kinds of sample analysis. Great dream. It's still possible. Sunday Kilan, it is also still possible to travel around the world. Okay, let's have that dream and let's do every day something little to get us to that dream. And by God's grace, He's going to make us achieve it. Okay, just 3 people. Let me hear you. Okay. To own, Baccarat says to own an educational institution which would grow to have one of the best standards in the country and then in the world. Great, great, great one, great one. Thank you so much for responding. And thank you for joining us in this final webinar. Okay, I know it takes a lot to do 4 consecutive webinar for Saturdays, 4 Saturdays. It takes a lot. Thank you for being with me in this journey. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So without further ado, we're going to dive into today's
Good morning, Ms. Blessing.
Good morning, Mrs. Peter. Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Let me just try to open the meeting room permanently, so while I'm talking, I don't get to start. Welcome, everyone. Welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome. Okay, so I'm quickly going to take us through the slides on post implementation and reflection. Okay, I'm quickly going to take that through, and I'm going to welcome Achidabara. He's here with us. He has finished his implementation. He has gotten his 4 certificates. So he's going to take us through how his implementation went. Okay, what he did, right? So he will take us through that. So, but first of all, let us quickly go to post-implementation. Let me share my screen here. Okay, so can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right. Okay, so now, after our implementation, the next thing is to reflect on the implementation. And it's always good you do, in fact, the next day, when you keep something like 2-3 days, you tend to forget everything that happened in that your particular session. That's your teaching session with the FET activities. Okay, so one major thing that we have to reflect on is, as I said, it's a reflection tool that should be used to evaluate your lesson plan after you use it with your students in your classroom. Okay, or whichever setting. All right, and it is a good assessment, self-assessment, as soon as you implement your lesson plan. It's always good you use it as soon as you finish. In fact, that same day is always better. Okay, you will see, where students didn't get things. Like for me, when I created my activity sheets, I saw where students were getting confused about the questions I asked. They had to, students were like, I don't understand it. An activity sheet should be able to, a student should be able to take it, read through the activity sheet on his own and understand. Okay, but once you start seeing students having difficulty, then you will know that your particular question or activity for a particular point isn't that good. You didn't structure it well. So you have to sit back and structure well. So that's why it's good to do the post-implementation reflection almost immediately after implementing. Okay, so and some of the basics you should ask when doing this post-implementation reflection. Okay, in the course, there's a file that you can download this tool and, tick the checkbox of things that you have accomplished or achieved. Okay, so the first thing you should ask is, did it make the learning goals explicit and ensure students understood and value them? That is one question you should ask after your activity, after your class. Okay, you also ask, did it provide students with clear expectation about the flow of the lesson? Okay, did you flow from top to bottom, not from bottom to top? Okay, there's always a flow in notes. It starts from definition. In every lesson note and all that, there's a flow. So did you take a flow? Was the flow clear as as expected? Did the lesson evolve through a logical and attainable sequence of conceptual development? Was it logical? Okay, even if it is maths, first of all, you have to define what the terms are. Then how to solve, there's a step 1, step 2, step 3 things to do. So that is a logical and a sequential way, okay, in a problem. So in your lesson plan, did it flow? So these are questions that you have to ask. Then did the room setup support student collaboration and teacher facilitation? Now, what does this mean is the setup of the room, I hope, we hope it's not too tight. In each class, there should be space for you to move around and not maybe 10 students to a laptop. It cannot be effective. When we have 10 students to a laptop, it can't be effective. A maximum of 5 students to a device. Are you getting me? And for schools that don't have devices, you can use whole class inquiry approach. Okay, so you need to know, did the room setup support student collaboration and teacher facilitation? Is quite important, because you can't, when implementing this, You can't just accept it's a whole, even in a whole class inquiry, you still have to move around, because you can do something like concept questions and throw it to, group people. Yes, whole class inquiries when you just have a projector and just one laptop, and you throw questions and students try to understand and you discuss. You still need to go through, to enable you to facilitate that particular lesson. Okay, was the technology ready to use an inappropriate student to device ratio? As what I said, a maximum, if you have technology in your school, that's devices, laptops or tablets, 5 to 1. 5 to 1, 5 students to a device is the ideal number. When it becomes more than that, it becomes difficult for the students to even go through the activity. Okay, so these are the basic things you should reflect on. Did all this go through? Then the next thing we have to reflect on is, was the environment, did the environment support active learning? That's what we should reflect on. Did it foster a student-centered active learning that gave students voice? That is, active learning is when students also respond to you, not you only to them. There should be a feedback where they're engaging open-ended questions that enabled active learning. Did it promote equitable student engagement? What this means here is not only the boys speaking, also encourage the girls also to speak. And by doing that, you can mix them. Let's say, for example, it's a mixed school. You can mix 2 boys, 2 girls in a group, 2 boys, 2 girls or 3 girls in a group, and all that, to encourage what? Equitable student engagement, not just one people. And once you notice that you have high flyers, no, not all high flyers in a class should be together. Mix the high flyers with, your middle, your average students, so everyone can be engaged. Okay, so these are ways to promote an active learning environment. So now, when it comes to now the SIM activity facilitation, okay, now for the teacher, you have to reflect on, did you use the simulation to provoke interest and ongoing inquiry? What were your questions like? Anyway, we're going to ask Achi Dabara. Okay, he's going to take us through his own implementation. Did you monitor and promote student engagement? Did you go around? Did you facilitate? Did you give hints? Let's say you go to a group and you see they're having struggles. You could give a hint and move further. And, it helps promote student engagement. They pick up on your hints and try to figure out, oh, what's the teacher saying and all that. Did you address the needs of diverse learners? Okay, there are diverse learners for schools that you have disabled people. The PhET simulation has accessories that can enable, like the voice. If, for example, is a touchpad or something, or the mouse goes through a particular device, it speaks to them. And I have also mentioned that PhET has been translated to Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba. So if you have someone who is blind and visually impaired person, if he just, takes his mouse, he hovers his mouse pointer on a particular part of the SIM, it speaks. There's a voice output where the learner can hear and try to, engage with the simulation. So if you are in a school that have impaired students, this is also a SIM that can help them learn PhET sciences better. Okay, there's a tool there. Please just remind me, I might take you through that tool, okay, on how to, use it. It's on the PhET website. On each SIM, you can enable that particular tool, and it will help visually impaired people. I think also hearing, that also have hearing impairment also. Okay, now for the students, you should also reflect. Did they fully explore the relevant features of the simulation through OpenPlay? As you have started from the beginning of the course, right from introduction of PhET to the activity design, you can see that OpenPlay is a very critical aspect of the PhET pedagogy. Open play is critical. Why? Because every aspect of the sim tries to explain a concept, and the concepts are related. So you should enable open play for students too, even without you saying this is my learning goal. They might even have an idea by playing with the simulations. So open play is very important. So give 5 to 10 minutes for open play for students to explore the features of the simulation, whichever simulation you pick. So please ensure that students, have some time running an open play session on the simulation. Now, another thing you should reflect on, were they asking their peers questions inspired by the sim? You should check also for engagement when you're going around facilitating, where they're asking, what is this one doing? This, that. You should also check for that, because that's when they start doing that, it means active learning is taking place. Did they use the simulation to test their prediction and explanation? Also, through your activity sheets, there are things that you go through, and you should try to check when you're going around that they are using the simulation to test whichever questions that you have, the prompt challenge questions that you have set on your activity sheets. Okay, did they discuss how their thinking was similar to or different from what they observed? After when I implemented my own activity, okay, in a school. So I had several students say, oh, I got it this way. Another say, oh, I got it this way. And they all came together and see why did, they came to test it. Why did you get this and why did you get that? So did that bring up discussion? And the others, this one will say, you are wrong. You're not supposed to do it that way. You are right. I'm right. I'm not supposed to do it. So did it bring out discussion on how their thinking was similar or different? You should check that also. And definitely, did they use the activity sheet as a tool to illustrate deep thinking, observations, and all? So these are some reflections, post-implementation reflections as a teacher we should go by. It's always good, I repeat, that we do this immediately after the class. You can take a break, maybe 20 minutes break, then you quickly do the post-implementation reflection. Okay, you just note it down. Now, the final most important post-implementation reflection is, did this lesson help students achieve your intended goals? What was your goal? What was your goal? Don't worry, I'll come to the chat box very soon. What was your goal? Did you achieve the goal? Did they finally understand? As I've dropped, let me take you through this activity. This is a lesson plan to enable, yeah, there's always something I do in each of my lesson plan. There's always a final check. Okay, and that final check is focused on my learning goals. Are you with me? There's always a final check. Okay, so, and that final check, I'm not going to assist anyone in ISB. I'm not going to give any hints or prompts. So it is from their answer in this final check that I will confirm that they have gotten, okay, they have understood my learning goals. They've understood the particular conceptual understanding of a topic that I'm trying to share with them. So it's always important you have that final check. This is like, in taking questionnaires and all that, there's a particular question that that this is the main one to use to analyze to see if you achieved your goal. So please, always in any lesson plan, to reinforce understanding of your goal, you need a final check. And this helps you to know if you have achieved the intended learning goals. Okay, so now I'm going to make this more interactive. I'm going to stop sharing, and I'm going to call on Mr. Achi Dabara. Are you with us? Okay, hold on. I see Mr. Ola Sukomi Olawale. He says, during open play session, is it proper to let the students know? No, don't let them know what each button does. No. What each of the buttons stands for without showing them how to use it, especially for those who don't see. Open play is all about them. Don't tell them. Okay? You'll be amazed that kids will get it by themselves. Don't tell them what it's for. Just give them to play around with the sim. It's just like a game. When you give your children your phones to play a game, do you tell them you tell them what the buttons are for? Huh? Do we tell them? We don't tell them. Okay? Because somehow they figure it out. All right? Even you as a teacher now, if I give you a sim to play around for 5 minutes, I won't tell you what anything is for, but you would figure it out. Okay? That is how interactive this simulation has been. Easy to use, a gamified environment. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Olasukomi, for your question. Okay, and Achi Dabara, is there anyone else that has finished the entire program here? Anyone else? Is there anyone else, please? Please let me just see your hands raised. If there's anyone else that has finished the entire program, finished. Oh, it doesn't. Okay. Mr. Marvelous. Okay, no problem. There's no problem. Mr. Achi Dabara, are you ready for us?
Yeah, yes, I am.
Okay, so you can tell us on how your implementation went. If you want to share your screen, you can also share your screen.
Sorry, I didn't make. I'm using my laptop and then I'm using my phone for the Zoom meeting, so I may not share my screen.
Okay, no
Is
problem.
that, I don't know, is that okay by you?
That's fine.
Yeah, actually, the initial presentation you gave explained it all. I think maybe what I would just need to add is the fact that the one would have felt the traditional classes we used to have presenting a lesson plan, of course, using teaching aids, is on one hand, but of course, the use of PhET simulation has truly made it very interactive, being that the students are given the opportunity, like you earlier mentioned, the need for open play. It truly intrigued the students. It truly hand over the process of learning to them. Like we all know, the teacher simply just need to facilitate. One should trust the goal he had set and then synchronize it with the appropriate simulation. And if that is done properly, and then there is a proper implementation reflection, I think the two stand out to help out the proper implementation. Of course, at this point, we are looking at the post-implementation. Is that okay, Blessing?
Can you first tell us how you prepared, how you executed, and how you reflected? So 3 things: how you prepared, how you executed, and how you reflected.
Okay. For me, all the assignment I took, they were well connected to each other. I didn't have to, when I was selecting my simulation, we were required to select 3 simulation at least, and I did that. Of course, it was quite exciting to see the range of simulation that are there. For me, I took chemistry. And in fact, just to say that I had downloaded all the simulation in chemistry, just to interject to say that some years back, there was one Science Teachers Association of Nigeria. They had one of the meeting, and there was such a presentation. I missed it anyway. And so when I saw this opportunity, I think that was just it, So I selected the simulation, and then thereafter I had my learning goals. Good enough, the simulation in FED is so descriptive. It has virtually all that it is required, for one to use. Usually one would not need, as soon as I entered the FED website, and I cited the various simulation. Each of them, of course, one would know which topic to use it for. I think those recommendations were given, the possible topics that such simulation can be used for. So the simulation I used was gas properties. And as we all know, those of us teaching chemistry, sometimes those concepts sometimes remain abstract, So the simulation has helped me in putting together my the learning goal, So that was done. And then the strategy, the next thing was which strategy should I employ? I opted for all-class inquiry because we usually have large chunk of students, and then the technology is not there. I teach in a public school, so the technology is not always handy. So I make do with the whole class inquiry, and then thereafter the preparation of the activity sheet. I did that, carrying out the lesson plan itself, the activity itself, and then the next thing was the pre-implementation reflection. And of course, this is intending to ensure that all that is planned is in synchrony. It gives the opportunity for other colleagues to check up one's work and ensure that the work is in synchrony. And then, of course, the implementation was done. And then of course, the final thing now is the post-implementation. Now, the thing is that the post-implementation is not essentially for the student, it's essentially for the teacher. I think you made that point earlier. It helps a teacher to reposition himself. Like myself now, subsequently, I think I should do much better when I'm taking my next class using simulation. I will try to make provision for, because I was limited in my technology, so I will see how I can, make more provision. But I can assure you honestly, this has truly made my learning goal. Of course, we call it behavioral objectives to be fulfilled, because largely the learning was, the students were just being guided to pick up those things they need to pick. But our traditional teaching, usually in a public school, is that you do all the talking, but the FED as simulation has really created it stimulates, appetite from students of wanting to see what is this. And as it's just like a game, but as of course we know, young people are intrigued by games, and so in summary, at the point of post implementation, it truly had helped me to be repositioned to do better the next time I'm taking my lessons. But in a nutshell, the FIT simulation is superb. And like I earlier said, I have 30 of the simulation already in my system, and I want to see how I can prepare them ahead of time, just to increase efficiency in my next implementation. Thank you.
Great one. Okay, so can you how many students were in your class?
15.
15. Good.
They're already on holidays. They are on holidays. If I was to have a full class, I can have as much as 90 students.
Wow.
90 and 100 or thereabout.
I would love you to share those pictures. I hope you took some pictures.
No, I didn't. I didn't consider that to be. It was later I saw that pictures should be, but of course, yeah. Okay.
Okay, but nevertheless, so what were yes, you had some issues you say you would work on. What were the particular issues apart from technology? Were there other things?
Well, since technology was not there, of course, I can't pick up other issues other than the fact that technology was not there. we are restricted to just what they see, even though a few of them came to try it out. So I think should be able to pick up some other things, but certainly the interest of the students was triggered.
Okay.
You could see them wanting to see what is this, and of course in wanting to see learning is taking place.
Yes. How was the open play like?
Yeah, the open play, it was done in groups. Since I only had one device, it was done in a cluster of groups. So it was actually done in cluster of group, in turn per turn.
Okay. Were they able to pick, what the simulation was about without you explaining?
Yes. Of course, like I earlier said, they are intrigued by games. They can find their way around. They are not entirely clueless. Yes, they did. Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Achidabara. Thank you. I'm grateful for you sharing. Okay, thank you. I will call on Mr. Agogo Marvelous. You said you are done with your implementation. Can you share with us how it went? Mr. Agogo. Are you with me? You can unmute and speak. Okay, as we wait for him, Mr. Achidabra, don't leave us. Please come back. If anyone has a question for Mr. Achidabra, please let me hear you. You can please unmute yourself and ask, please.
Sorry, I'm babysitting my son, so bear with me.
No problem. I understand. Thank you. Thank you for supporting us women.
Yeah.
Thank you. If you have a question for Mr. Achidabara, please unmute and speak.
Yeah.
Anyone? Or you can drop your question in the chat box. So I ask him and he answers. If you have any questions on his implementation, okay? While we're waiting for Mr. Agogo, is there any other person that has implemented their FET lesson plan? If you have implemented yours, or you've implemented, is still on grading, please, let me see your hands. Are you with me? Is everyone tired this Saturday? Are we all tired or busy or in parties? Okay, I think, is this the second or which Saturday is this? I know the Saturdays that are one best Saturday in Nigeria. Second Saturdays. Yeah, kind of. Anyone with a question? I'm here. Okay. Beth, do you want to say something?
Yeah, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Alasukomi. Thank you. Good morning.
All right. So actually, I'm done. I'm just at the last stage, but I've not implemented.
Okay.
Hopefully, in the course of the week, I will definitely implement. But it's been very great and awesome. Just like I asked the other time, I will. And when you mentioned the aspect of game, I quite remember, because there are some games that my son in primary school, nobody taught him. Sometimes I even wonder how you even know how to play. You say, Daddy, let me teach you how to play. Let me teach you. I said, I don't have time. So let me teach you how to play. So I think from that perspective, and of course, I deal with upper secondary. So they should be able to figure out what this, because at first my question is, how would they know to connect a second? How do they know which is this? So because I teach physics. So but I think from the perspective of game, which is actually going to excite them. And so I will implement this week, and Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, thank you for your contribution. Thank you so much. I see, for me, the best thing about actually I have been, let me see, Saha Bawa, please, can you speak? Can you unmute and speak? I see you have a question, but can you speak? Are you with me? Saha Bawa. Okay, your mic is not working. Oh, okay. Okay, but you said, did you feel your pre-implementation and post-implementation template according to your lesson plan before submission? No. For your pre-implementation, you have to submit. Okay. You have to, feel that it is just a guide. Okay, that's what the pre-implementation reflection tool and post-implementation reflection tool does. It's just a guide, okay? And I have submitted the pre-implementation lesson plan, but I still have to go with the implementation, which will be doing this, which you are going to do this coming week. Okay, great. Chiaka says, for me, the best thing about this workshop is the active teaching strategies. I have been using them in teaching my PG courses, but not using the FEDSIMS. I have been using the material directly from the internet. Oh, great one. Thank you. Thank you for using it. Okay. All right. Okay. So, Agogo, can you speak now? I think you are back.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you.
I want to put on my video as I'm walking down the road
No problem.
presently. Well, unfortunately for me, my school has already closed, so I was unable to go to my school and have this done. But what I did was, there was a school close by that was having a summer class, so I inquired from the head teacher if I could quickly try out something with them, since we're both former colleagues. So he said fine. So I went there with my laptop, and I did the presentation there with them. What the presentation I had with them with these kids were on pH, how to identify the pH values of different liquids and different substances, and also to find out whether the color actually affects the pH, and what happens when we try to dilute acids, whether it changes to base or the other way around. So I went with my worksheet. So the first thing I did was the open play. I dropped my laptop. There were not that much in the class. There were about 6 of them. So
Great.
I asked that they should play around with it. I actually told them this is like a game, so I want you guys to figure out what is going on here. That was after I've told them the objective of what I wanted from them. So they were going through it, and on their own, they were able to operate the sim very well. They were talking to each other, so I was just watching them, seeing what they were doing, and then I asked them to record down what they noticed. So after the simulation, then I started asking them questions based on what I had prepared on the worksheets. I was asking them what happened when you did this, and they were giving me the answers. What do you think could have happened if we did it this other way around? So after much excited, even the teachers that were there, they were excited. I think I sent them a link to join for September batch, so that they can also learn from what I've learned so far.
Oh, great. Great.
I actually snapped pictures, but it's on my system right now. I had an emergency, so I had to leave the house, so I couldn't carry my system along. So I had it in mind to show it in the presentation today.
No problem. Thank you. You can still share it, okay? You can share
Okay.
it, because of this now, I've opened a Facebook group, okay? Because, WhatsApp group, if you start sharing pictures and all, we're adults, we don't want so many things on it, except it's very, very important. But on Facebook, we can share our pictures. Okay, so please join the Facebook, the STEM Teachers Nigeria is called the Nigerian STEM Teachers Hub. Join the Facebook group and feel free to share, pictures of your works, your achievements, what you do in class. You can never know how that might go far and people contact you and all. Okay, so Agogo, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Was there any challenge in the students understanding your activity sheets? What's your post implementation reflection? What do you think you're going to do better the next time?
Okay. Because I haven't taught the children before, it was a bit strange when they saw me coming to class that I wanted to teach them, and I didn't quite know the prerequisite. I didn't know what they have learned, if they already had the prior knowledge of the topic before I introduced it. So it was a little bit of challenge. So I had to start explaining some of the objective and what I expect them to know before we start the open play.
So at the end, did they get any of your learning goals? Were they able to get it?
Yes. Everything went on very fine. They were able to identify, they were able to answer all the questions on the worksheet for me, and I went through all of them, I marked it, and it was very, very accurate. The children really enjoyed the class. That was one of the reasons why the management really were interested in having their other teachers to learn the program.
Oh, great. Oh, great. So we've all heard Agogo. You can see a class he hasn't taught before. He doesn't know if if they have learned about the pH scale, and he taught them using the PhET simulation, and they were able to get it. His learning goals were achieved. Okay, does anyone have a question for Mr. Agogo? Anyone? Okay, but if you have a question, you can drop it in the chat box. I see here that we have a doctor. Okay, Dr. Chiaka. Oh God, I'm so sorry if I'm not pronouncing your name well, but I would love if you speak. You said in the chat box that you use it in teaching your PG students, in teaching PG courses. Okay, can you tell us how your experience has been, Ma? Please. Hello, Ma. Don't know if she's still with us.
Yes, I'm with you. I was trying to unmute.
Oh, okay. Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you so much. Thank you so
for
much.
doing the workshop.
Okay, ma. You've been quite quiet. No, when we have doctors in education, please, ma.
No, yeah, well, I don't have it. I'm not a PhD education. I'm PhD biology, but I was interested in doing this workshop because I was in the depths of despair in thinking about how to reach my students and pass information to them, because I've been seeing the quality of students going down yearly, and I knew I had to change my pedagogy, and I've been changing it, but I wasn't getting to them. So I really like this workshop. I'm just not. When we first started, there were only 3 biology sims, but 2 days ago I looked and there are more. So I can incorporate them in different topics that I teach, because I teach molecular biology. So some of those sims are very good. The 2 that I've focused on are the one on natural selection and the one of gene expression essentials. So I didn't use the sims to teach the postgraduate student. What I used was the active learning strategies, all the facilitation, all that moving about, talking, asking them how they're doing, asking the other group to help the other group. Those are things that I've used in the last 2 weeks that I was teaching my postgraduate students, and really helpful. I wasn't using PhET sims. I was using material directly from the internet connected to the course I was teaching them.
Yeah.
But in my university, we're just going to start a new session, and I'm definitely going to incorporate some of those sims, especially the gene expression, because molecular biology is so abstract for students and they don't have the background from secondary school. So when they come to uni, it's a big problem. So if using those sims will really blow their minds and help them to, but the first level, the first year classes are too large for me to be able to do this this thing, you know. So I'm going to have to put the sims for them as homework, and then we'll talk about it in class. I can show it in whole class inquiry during the class, you know, some part of the class, then I refer them to do it as homework. So it's really neat, really. So I've been thinking, you know, if I do more of that active learning thing, but what I have seen is that the students, let me not say all of them, but a good number of them don't want to have the responsibility of learning. They want the teacher to keep giving them the material. So I've been in a fight for the past 3 years in how to get students to own the responsibility for their study. So that's what's giving me gray hairs. But I guess we'll get there eventually.
Yes, yes, we will. Yes, we will. Thank you. And you know, for the assignment part, you can use this strategy, concept questions. I don't know if you remember
Yes,
that
I use
strategy.
concept questions.
Yeah.
But you know, there are 1,600. I'm not going to be able to get to all their answers, you know. So what I see, I do ask them to submit, you know, to make sure that they do the work, but I can't look at 1,600 assignments. So, but yes, I will use more of concept questions for them. That's what I have in my activity plan thing. Is more of concept questions, even though I saw the examples that they gave are tabulated and things like that. But for that topic and the way that I structured it, there are more concept questions.
Okay. And you can also make use of things like Google Forms. You get that can.
Okay.
You
Yes.
That's you
better.
would
It collates the questions and the answers immediately, and I just look at it. Fantastic.
You know, everyone must submit. You know, there's a way you set your Google form that it only accepts one response. So you know, they submit, you see everything on the Excel sheets and you know everything. You can see the stats if people are really getting it and all that. Yeah, that will help with integrating the concept questions with it. Thank you so much, Ma. I would love to have your contact details. I don't know if you're on. Are you on the group?
I am. Yes, I am. I sent you a message.
Yeah, please do send me a message. If you require us to, you know, put, yes, you're in biology, but if you have contacts with the physics, if you want the students themselves to go through the Coursera course and have a deep, you know, if you're in education or whichever department that, I know it will mostly help people in education. Okay, where they can go through the entire course so that, you know, when we're passing out graduates from our schools, at least they have a tool that can encourage and foster learning, science learning in classrooms where they will be employed. So if there will be something like that we can do for the school, it would be lovely. Thank you so much, Ma, for joining us.
Thanks to you.
Thank you. Okay, Ma. All right. Okay, I see people here. Gogo says, I think it would be nice if doctor put the students in groups and have them work together on their own homework through Zoom. Okay, that's another one. Doctor can use Google Forms, Kahoot or Quizy for the concept questions. Okay, good. You know, that's why we're a community, and that's why I employ also as STEM Nigerian teachers to please join the Facebook group so we can share resources and, you know, help each other try to, you know, develop the study of STEM in our country. It is needed. You know, I was hearing someone say that the world has happened to Africa. It's now time for Africa to happen to the world. You know, we can't sit back. We have to also do our best to encourage STEM learning, because that's what helps an economy. It drives us. Technological advancement, drives the economy. We go to China. What is making the economy better is technology, manufacturing industries. You see young boys or young girls building things up in their houses, having little manufacturing plants, manufacturing toys and selling to us here in Nigeria. You get my point. We can also do that here in our country, and it's through enhancing STEM teaching. That's what they did. There was no magic about it. They forced everyone in China. China is just an example. Every child in China was forced to learn STEM. It's still happening till today. They forced them, the government sponsored them to the US. That was the big, I think it was an agenda. It was a big agenda, pushed like several generations of young China people to the US, to best schools, MIT, to study what America is doing in terms of technological advancement. And they brought those things back to their home and see where China is. Everything, even the US produces things from China. So we can do this as teachers. It is our place. We can do this. We can promote STEM teaching, and it starts with us supporting each other as teachers and driving these goals to our classes. Okay, so thank you so much. Okay, I see. Let me quickly go through the Innocent says, I was able to use the SPET sim as well as active teaching strategies. The pre-lesson, post-lesson implementation reflection is also a powerful guide and an insight in self-evaluation. I used a makeshift classroom and students who were on Innocent, in 5 minutes, can you speak to us how your implementation went? I promise that this webinar will be 1 hour, but in 2 minutes, can you say something? Innocent, are you there?
Yes, I'm there, ma.
Yeah, please, can you speak? How did your implementation go?
Yeah, as I said, we are on holiday in Malawi, and I had to find the students who are within my vicinity, who are in senior secondary. And so I had to request for a hall, a recreation hall, where I used that one as a classroom. And I hired a projector, and I had to improvise a whiteboard using some white chart papers. So I introduced my lesson to them, and of course it was a new thing because they are used to videos and they don't know about the simulations. So I introduced the lesson to them, and I made my learning goals clear to them, and I had to demonstrate a bit on the introductory parts, and they were motivated to see what was happening. I had to pose some questions, and they had to think, predict, and contribute. And going through with my lesson, I had to give them chance to play with the simulation using my laptop. Of course, some were not used to operating a laptop, but a few within the groups were able to, press this and that, then find out what is happening, discuss with their friends, and then by and by they started to follow what the lesson is all about. And in the end, when they had to interact with the activity sheet, that's when they wanted to go back to the simulation now, so that so that they could now try, because the activity sheet was like provoking their thinking to find out more, to find out more about what is going to happen if this happens, what will happen if this changes that way. So they were able to generate some answers from the worksheet, and they had to make presentations.
Great.
Apart from group discussions, they made presentations to the whole class, and it was quite interesting. It was fun. They were engaged, and the learning environment was very active. So yeah, so it was fun. To me, it was fun. To them, it was fun. And I have benefited a lot from the course as well as from implementing the lesson. On the assignment, I posted some pics depicting what was happening in my classroom. Now, apart from whatever I've said, I've also learned some other things like the different media platforms that we can use to interact and share information. I've heard of the Kahoot, the Quiz, the Google Forms. I have taken note of that. And
Yeah,
above all, we have a program here in Malawi to do with what we call strengthening of mathematics and science in secondary education. In this program, teachers come together, science teachers come together to discuss active learning strategies as well as to brainstorm on challenging concepts in science, how to go about teaching them. So I feel like this thing, the PhET interactive simulations, I'm going to share with my fellow teachers
great.
so that when we go out there, we are going to teach some of the challenging concepts using the simulations. Yeah,
Great.
so it's quite insightful, it's quite helpful, and I wish there is another chance to join another program similar to this one.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you, Innocent. I would
yeah,
share the link for the September workshop batch, so you can share with
yeah,
teachers there, okay, to
yeah,
join that. Okay, thank you so much, Innocent. It's a lovely one from
yeah,
you. Great
yeah.
one.
Thank you, Ma. Thank you.
Okay, so for one thing I also want to buttress is, yes, if you have just your laptops, you can also use your phones. The PhET sims are actually quite accessible and usable on your mobile phones. Okay, so as teachers, even if yes, technology is a barrier, let us, if we can, also use our own resources to help students, get STEM well and in a fun way. So thank you so much. I've extended your time with more than 3 minutes. I appreciate everyone for joining me for this final workshop. And if you have any questions right now as we close the curtain today, do you have a question to ask? Let me see your question. Any question?
Sorry, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, Mrs. Josephine.
Yes, Josephine Cotton. Sorry, I can't turn on my video now.
No problem.
Yes. I remember last weekend. First of all, thank you so much for this workshop.
Sure.
I've been quite occupied this period, so it's been hectic. But each time I take out time to go through and continue my work, it's always a new world of learning for me. So I really appreciate this, and for the fact that it's free, it's a big thing for us. So thank you, ma'am. So last weekend you talked about the PhET fellowship. I wanted to throw more light on that. When will the next one come up? What do we do to become a PhET fellow? That's
Yeah.
just my question. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Yeah, the PhET fellowship would be coming up by God's grace. We haven't, because PhET is an NGO, so we have sponsors. So the sponsors support the fellowship. Okay, so that is the sponsors that pay for the fellowship year, this fellowship session. So once we have a sponsor for next year to be announced, and thank God you're on the group, you're on the Facebook group. Once it's out, I will share it with us. The application, what you've gone through, this course is the same. It's almost the same. It's just that you will now have to add other things like, why do you want to be here? There are several questions. It's a thorough one which you have to take your time to sit down to apply for. So I would encourage everyone when it comes up to go through the application and sit well and write everything down well and submit. Okay, and if it's good, they will definitely contact you.
Okay, thank you, ma. So sorry, ma, one more. When you become a PhET fellow, is there always will there be this consistent renewal, maybe per year? Will you need to always renew the fellowship?
No. Once a fellow, always a fellow.
Okay. All
So
right, ma.
there are some things that are expected from you as a fellow, and one of the things is to always promote awareness of the usage of FET.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much, ma. I'll send you a personal email, or maybe I will link you to my director of education in the school I work.
Okay.
To know if maybe you guys can come over to the secondary school to do some things. I don't know. Because I was just thinking of it this morning that FET has been around for a while and I didn't know anything about it. But it's good to be exposed to it now. I wish I had known FET before now. But I'm really impressed. Yeah.
We'll be happy to come to your school if it's to train your teachers also on the usage of FET.
Yeah.
Organize the training. We'll be happy to do that. You can WhatsApp me.
Okay. All right. I'll do that. Thank you so much.
Okay. Thank you, Josephine. Mr. Adewusi, please, you can speak.
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Good afternoon, sir.
Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity of learning. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. But I want you to shed more light on this. Actually, I joined late. I just joined some few minutes ago. So now I don't know. I've done the courses for the first one and the second one, and I've received my certificate. The only thing now is I'm on the implementation of FET. I've done the first one, the lesson plan and pre-implementation. I've submitted, but I've been unable to do the one for the last part, which is the what's it called? The lesson plan and implementation, where you have to take videos and some other things. I don't know, pictures and the rest. So I don't know. My school is resuming summer lesson on Monday. Can I do that? Do I swear I have the opportunity?
Have you implemented already?
Yes, I've done, but I've not done the last part, which is the post implementation, the one that requires taking pictures and
okay, is it that when you were implementing it with the students, you didn't take pictures?
No, I've not done it at all.
Okay,
I've only done.
Yeah, when you resume, that's what you do. So when you are implementing with the students, you take pictures.
Okay.
Yeah, you can do it this week and submit. Because the course
is telling me overdue.
No, continue. The course closes 19th, so you still have time.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not overdue. So ignore the overdue because we extended it. It was supposed to end 12th, but we extended it.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yes, it's not overdue. So 19th it closed. So please this week, everyone, let's try to wrap up our implementation plan and submit. Okay? All right. So please, revisit last week's training. Okay, please link to I will drop the link to the last week training in the group again. All the videos, I'm going to drop them in the group. Okay, again today when we end this meeting. So thank you so much everyone for joining us. I don't think there's any more question. Okay, so thank you so much for joining us. Now everyone having issues, I'm yet to be graded for my activity sheet design. If you're not graded, there are two things. Is either you haven't finished maybe reviewing or your assignment, or you have not been reviewed by another person. So two things, okay? But if you have any issue, I'm going to also drop a form where you will fill in the issue you are having, all right? And we will contact you direct from FET. All right, that's what my colleague has been doing now. So I'll drop that form, fill in, explain to us the issue, so we sort it out. Okay, so I will do that immediately after this meeting. So thank you so much for joining us in today's webinar. I am grateful. I am grateful for all those who has stayed with me for the 4 consecutive workshops. I am truly, truly grateful. Thank you from DTW Foundation. Okay, if we don't know, this is organized by DTW Foundation. By God's grace, I'm the founder of DTW Foundation. I know DTW tutorials on YouTube. I do teach students, maths and sciences, but I decided that, yes, I can help students with their exams, teach them how to pass, teach them to understand some fundamental principles in science. But still, I think I still need to help teachers to have more and help these students love sciences more. Okay, so that they can also pass more and be better engineers, doctors, and whichever science-related courses they want to, go into. So that's why I'm here doing what I do. So thank you so much for joining us, and also thank you from the PhET team globally. So thank you. So stay blessed and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend, and a wonderful teaching session as schools resume. Thank you. I would want to, we're not far, we're still on the group. The WhatsApp group will still be active, but better still, the Facebook group is going to be better. Okay, that's, you can post your pictures, post things that you're doing. If you have a blog, that you want to share with other teachers, have resources you want to share, that would be better. The WhatsApp group will still be active. I will post important things there. Okay, so I don't, crowd your space on the group. All right, so thank you. We're still on this the workshop. It closes 19. There was an extension, so please let's try to wrap that up. So thank you, and there will be a next one, September also. I will share the link to that. Please try to share with your fellow colleagues and teachers in your network group to join the forthcoming workshop. So thank you, and see you soon. We are not too far. One more thing. Okay, I see you don't need an exit ticket, so I'm grateful for you being here. So we can all leave, all right? I see Achidabara says, so grateful. I see Innocent say, you're an inspiration, ma. Thank you. Limot says, really appreciate the team. Thank you. Chiamaka says, thank you, ma. Oh, you're welcome. I see Charity say, thank you. I see Beth says, thank you. I see everyone saying, thank you. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. You are also the best, for taking out time for this professional development. You're also the best. Thank you, Agogo. You are all blessed. You are all blessed. All right. See you and have a lovely weekend. My regards to your family and your loved ones. Bye. Can we unmute and say bye?
Bye.
Let me hear your voices.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much.
No problem.
It's a
Bye.
pleasure being here. It's an honor.
Yes. Bye.
It's an honor being here.
I
Goodbye.
love you too.
See you all at the top.
Yes, at the top. We see each other at the top.
Yeah.
Bye,
See you all at the
everyone.
top.
Yes.
Bye.
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 Bye, Beth. Bye.
Bye.
How's South Africa doing now?
Yeah, it's okay.
It's okay.
And
Okay.
I've been using your sim for the input and output energy and for the fractions. So the children have been enjoying it.
Oh,
But
great.
whole class presentation, they don't all have their own devices.
Oh,
So,
great.
yeah,
Great.
good.
All
Thank
right,
you for
bye.
being here. Okay,
Yes.
bye.
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 Bye.